Okay, so here we have Doffy versus Lucci, and honestly, normally this is a pretty bad matchup, especially if they see stage on 2. I lost a die roll here. He opted to go first, and yeah, so I'm swinging here on 3 Dawn, blinding the leader ability and showing a pudding. Now, Lucci tends to, in the early game, have quite a bit of cards, and he has an opportunity here to kind of play around the pudding and counter out of it, which I think he does here. He's going to have to give me, I think he can give me 3 1s to safely counter out of it, but he's going to do a 2 and a 1. Pudding could still come and play later on. So he draws a super for turn. He's on his 4 Dawn turn here, so he still really can't play stage out if he wants to develop his board. So he doesn't even have it anyway, but if he did, it wouldn't be a good opportunity. So he's just going to swing 9 at my face. He doesn't have any other plays really. He can play a Lucci out, but there's nothing to KO, so you should just keep it. I'm going to safely take that, and we actually draw a Gravity Blade, which is huge. So we go to 7 Dawn here, and now we have the opportunity to swing, use leader ability. Oh, actually we're on 5 Dawn. I apologize. So we're on 5 Dawn here. I'm just swinging 6, no leader effect, because I need to develop my board more. We're going to raw play this Jinbei and grab a Weevil to draw 1 card. So getting out 2 bodies here, drawing a card, replacing some of the cards in my hand, and passing off to him. Now with Lucci, you're going to need to try to go as fast as possible to kill them as quick as possible, which is why I'm also trying to go wide here, because as I'm doing that, he's going to be kind of removing my board at the same time. For the most part, I'm just going to ignore his board. The only removal I believe I'm going to use is going to be the Gravity Blade, because I can just deal with it like that, because pretty much everything in his deck can just KO something. So we don't want to have to deal with that. So we're going to go ahead, and now we're going to go to 7 Dawn here. So we have the opportunity to go leader effect into playing another 4-drop. As you can see, we haven't had the ability to stack the top of our deck, which makes our swings much more risky. Unfortunately though, against Lucci, it's just kind of something you have to do. You just have to swing at them. You have to try to develop your board. If you whiff, then you whiff, and it is what it is. It's just kind of one of those situations where you just really got to go for it. So that's what I'm doing here. We hit a Doffy, which is huge, so we're able to stack the top 5 of our deck here. When you're stacking your deck, one thing you want to make sure that you're recognizing is that either if you're going to swing that turn before you stack, you need to make sure the next card that you're swinging into is the 7 Warlords, preferably a Jinbei if you already have Weevil in hand. If you don't already have Weevil in hand, but you have Jinbei and Weevil in your stack, then you can put Weevil as the second to the top card, something else that you can swing into as the top, as the next Warlord, so that'll come out. That way you'll draw Weevil for turn, you swing with leader, Jinbei comes out, and you can play the Weevil from your hand. So it's really just quite a bit of thinking, of understanding what you're going to be doing that turn. If you haven't swung yet, if you have swung, if you're going to play Gravity Blade that turn, if you're not going to play Gravity Blade, if 10-drop Kaido is going to come out, like all these different things you need to consider when you're swinging with your, or when you're stacking your deck. So now I went ahead and stacked the deck. We have 4 Dawn up. Actually, we have 4 Dawn up. We're going to go ahead and play this to grab another Weevil and just keep this in our hand for later, because it is still a 6k body that they have to deal with. It is only a 4 cost, which is very much in range for most of their cards, which is why this matchup is generally so abysmal, because there's not a whole lot of things that you can do to prevent that from happening. So you just gotta kind of develop your board, try to keep it as wide as possible, because even on their Gecko plays, they're only popping 2 things a turn. Normally, there are ways that they can double spanding you, and if that happens, then it is what it is. You just kind of cooked at that point. And if Isho sticks, then it's really just kind of game over from there. Especially if they have like double Gecko or double spanding, a Lucci in hand plus spanding, and with a Lucci in trash. Like there's a lot of different things that they can do. So right now, what I'm trying to do is really, as I said earlier, just go as fast as possible, because I really need to make sure that I live. So I'm countering out as much as I can to stay alive, because we are going to be playing Kaido. So as long as I can keep my life up, make him pop my board instead of be just letting things die, because if I let things die, then it's easier for him to KO things. On this one though, it's not worth saving. So it kind of is just one of those opportunities where if I have to give him 2 cards for that and it dies anyway, then it just dies. I think I recognize that he doesn't have Lucci in trash as well. So this play kind of like works in my favor. I still lose 2 bodies off of his play, but that's kind of unavoidable. If I had to give him 2 cards too, that would have not really been great for me, even with the Kaido in my hand. So we actually draw a Sanji here. Actually, that's not Kaido. I believe that's 9-drop Mihawk. I forgot. I'm actually playing the Sanji build, Sanji Mihawk build, during this tournament. I actually have changed that since. I only play Kaido now. The Sanji Mihawk build is nice, but it is kind of gimmicky. It's not as consistent, and Kaido just does more for you, in my opinion. Being a 12k body is obviously just like menacing here. So we're gonna play the Sanji to get the boa out. This is what I stacked off of my Doflamingo, which is really good because it stops the Gecko from swinging here. I had a feeling that he was gonna be playing Gecko out on his turn, so that's why I stacked it in this order. And it really is gonna put a lot of pressure on him. The Gecko's not gonna be able to do anything. He has to deal with 2 big bodies, which is still a 9-drop and a 6-drop. But at the end of the day, there's still 2 big bodies that he just has to deal with. Even if he can remove the 6-drop and the 4-drop quite easily. It is harder for him to reach 9, especially without stage, which you'll see in this game. He just doesn't really see it until it's too late. And that's kind of like the nature of playing stage in Lucci. If you see it, it's great. If you don't see it, like, you could have seen something else. But it is just what it is at that point. So we are going to get Tempest kicked. And then I believe it's either another Gecko or a Sabo here. So he's trying to decide what he wants to play out here. He does have the Sabo. I believe he has a Gecko in hand. He has a Lucci as well in hand. So he could try to make some sort of Lucci play with Rebecca to reduce something as well. Leader ability is going to swing into the Jinbei, I think. And he's going to reduce the Sanji. I should save this here because, as I said earlier, I need to make him KO my board. Letting things die is kind of rough because that's just more things that are being removed off the board. Yeah, so I do counter out here. You need to make sure that you're countering out as much as possible. I'm gonna give him a 2k again. You have to counter out. It's really unfortunate, but it's just something you have to do. He's gonna raw play the Suru. So that's 3 for Tempest Kick, 1 for Leader, 2 for Suru. I believe that is 6 that I'm down. So I'm down to a 3 cost here. Does he have Kaku in hand? I think he has Kaku, which would make sense. He also has... Okay, so maybe he's going into Khalifa Lucci. Oh, he's going to draw 2. Trash a Lucci. That way he has 1 in trash for later. And he's trashing his Kaku. So he's going to reduce the Sanji here. He's just going to play the Lucci. I believe he can only KO the... Unless the Suru went on the Jinbei. I don't think it did. I don't think he could do that. So yeah. Now we're just going through. We're making sure we're recounting to make sure that everything is accurate. And it is within range. Khalifa put it down to 1. And luckily, if he had staged there, my Jinbei would be dead too. Which is kind of why that card is pretty busted. It's really not a balanced card in my opinion. Especially with it having no cost. Most other stages to get an effect like that would have a cost. With Jerma Kingdom, you have to like ditch a card you can whiff. So you just lost a card for no reason. So it kind of just makes sense for the stage to be banned. We are playing pre-ban here. This is actually from a couple weeks ago. Because I have been playing Bonnie recently. But this is the build we were running for Doffy. Outside of the Sanji Mihawk combo, we were playing Kaido, as I said earlier. So right here, I'm trying to determine if I should Gravity Blade here. I believe that other card that I can't really see well is Boa, which means that I need to kind of make a play here to get kind of aggressive. I'm trying to decide if I want to use Leader ability or if I want to use this Gravity Blade. Gravity Blade is probably the correct play here. I need to get rid of the Lucci and the Brook. This is not correct. I probably should not have done this. I definitely should have swung. I definitely should have swung at his face with Leader. Or even at the Brook, to be honest. I'm gonna swing 5 first at his life. Then I'm gonna swing 7 at his life. Proc the Leader ability. I think this is the 5th card in the stack. So it is Jinbei. Jinbei will come out, grab the Weevil. And then right here, I can Gravity Blade the Khalifa and the Lucci. It is a strong play to hit the Brook because that got rid of 3 bodies off his board. But I really should be pressuring his life a little bit more. Maybe hitting the Brook is correct here. But I could have got him much lower in life. Either way, he still has to deal with my board. So I guess both ways work out properly. I think I have a Pudding in hand. I think that's a 9-drop Mihawk, to be honest, and a Gravity Blade. So I actually think this is correct. Hitting the Brook is right because I don't have a whole lot of counter, and I'm down to 2 life. So we probably should try and get his board down a little bit more and pressure his life at the same time. So he's gonna grab a Spandam here to grab a Kaku, and he's gonna swing 9 at the Boa, which puts us in a situation here. Counter out, or it's 10 at the Boa actually, and it is a 4-drop Mihawk apparently. I can't really tell the difference between those two because they have pretty much the same exact art. So I am gonna give him the Croc and the Pudding. The Pudding was pretty much dead. So I have Doffy Mihawk in my hand, 4-cost Mihawk, the 2K. So I have 3K counter in my hand. He's going to likely swing at my board. He's swinging into the Jinbei, reducing the Weevil. I have to give him a 2 here in case I need to stack my deck. So the Gecko is gonna come out here. The Gecko isn't, again, it's not gonna be as strong because he doesn't have stage. So that is really like the big thing here, is not having stage just slows them down so much that it makes it harder for them, their math harder to KO things, which is why when stage goes away, Doffy will be a much more viable deck. The Gecko, yeah, is pretty good, but they don't have as reliant reduction as Lucci with stage. So this just makes this matchup much easier. So he went into a defensive play here to grab a Rebecca and Spanding. That way he could counter up because my board is quite wide. And we do have a lot of pretty good swings here. We draw into another 6-cost Boa here, which is huge because we can't prevent one of these Geckos from swinging. So our hand's pretty wide, or our board's pretty wide. We have a 3-drop Doffy and we have a 6-drop Boa. So our play here likely is going to be just to swing at his life. I have 2 life up. He doesn't have a whole lot of big bodies on the board. It's probably just better for me to go for his life here and stun one of the Geckos, which will leave him with 1 Gecko swing. Rebecca's gonna die here, and Leader and Spandams. It's just not worth it to have to worry about those. And push comes to shove, I can also play the Doffy here if I need to turtle up harder to prevent him from KOing me. This will be an extra swing that he needs. So right now I'm trying to determine the numbers I want to swing with. I don't imagine if I swing at this gecko here that it is going to go down. He is going to keep it up. So it's actually better to pressure his life here because that gecko is going to stay up anyway. So we're going to try to commit the least on possible here. Just swing 7 at his life. This guarantees 2 cards out of his hand. He's trying to decide if he's going to give me the 2 2s here. So he is going to give me 2 2s. I think I see a Sabo in his hand. So he could have countered 2-1, but I think he's trying to save that in case he needs it. But at the same time, I could just Gravity Blade it away if I drew one here. We're going to swing another 7 at life. Again, trying to guarantee 2 cards here. Another 7. So again, same situation. We're putting him, either he gives me 2 cards or I take that last life. So I have 2 more swings here. We have 5 Dawn up, I believe. No, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe it is 5 Dawn up. I'm shocked I didn't play the boa out here. Because I could have stunned a gecko, removed a Spandam. I think that was actually more correct. But I guess we're just going to go with Doffy and swinging with leader here. Which, again, I don't really think is the correct play. I definitely should have just played out the boa here. So one of these Jinbeis should have only swung 5. And boa should have came out. I probably would have closed this game out a turn sooner had I have made that play. And right now I'm trying to decide the numbers I want to swing. I believe the correct number should be, what is that, 6 and 9? He'll take the 6, or he'll give me a 2, and then he has to block the 9. But again, the correct play this turn would have been just to raw play the boa here. I actually even considered not turning this boa. And I think that's what I'm really thinking about, is if I should even turn the boa here, because I don't want to risk letting it go down. And if I'm going to swing here, I definitely should swing with leader first, because I could try to get this Rebecca out the way. More than likely he's not going to, but it is something that I should have considered. I think I played this turn incorrectly, definitely. We're just going to swing 9 life. He's just going to block this, so I'm only going to get 1 card out of it. Oh, I actually swung at the gecko here. Yeah, this play is definitely not correct. Gonna be swinging 6 at life here. He's going to block. We're gonna play the Doffy out, stack 5. I'm left with only a boa in hand. Unfortunately, the camera can't show you how I'm stacking, and I just don't remember this stack, so I can't really tell you what I'm doing here. But again, all it is thinking about what you're gonna draw for turn. Then if you swing, what you're going to swing into. Then afterwards, what you're going to draw. If you plan on using leader ability that same turn, then make sure something else is behind that you can swing into. And if you're not, make sure it's something that you don't want to swing into as your next card that you draw for turn. So that's kind of my strategy. I use draw, hit, draw, hit, draw, hit as my manner. What's the word I'm looking for? Mannerism. I don't think that's correct. Anyway, I use the strategy of just knowing what I'm gonna draw, then what I'm gonna hit. You don't even actually have to remember the exact same card as long as it's draw, hit. So he's going to swing at the Jinbei here. The Jinbei is going to go down. I have one card in hand, so I can't save it anyway. But I do have a Doflamingo again on the board, so I can block. Yeah, and that was actually something I was thinking about. He reduced the Doffy by 1, and I considered blocking with it, just because I imagine that it's gonna go down. But I didn't want it to be a feint, and I just blocked for no reason. But it turned out I should have just blocked anyway, because at the end of the day, like, if he does have the Lucci, it's much more devastating. He also could have just Rebecca Spandine as well. So there's just no reason I shouldn't have blocked there. Definitely another mistake on my end. The boa is gonna go down here. The Jinbei is gonna go down here. I actually have more than 2 life. I think I actually have 3. Or is it 4? I think I have 4 life. Okay, maybe that makes a little bit more sense of why I played the way I did, but I definitely still should have just played the boa out last turn. Because again, I would have, going into this turn, I would have closed out this game because boa would still be on board. Even if I swung with the other boa, I would still have one more boa up, and there's just no math for him to get out of that. I believe he only has 2 cards in hand. So I would be swinging 9 this turn, 9 then 14. So playing the boa out last turn is actually more correct. And hypothetically speaking, he would have potentially another card in hand, but even then I can still account for that. Okay, so now we're just going to swing 9 at his life. He has to take. We're going to play the boa out here. Playing the boa versus the red rock achieved the same thing essentially. We get to stun something, so prevent something from happening, taking it essentially out of the game for the turn, while also developing a body. So if it's between boa or red rock, I usually opt to go into the boa because it achieves the same thing. Plus, if they have a 1-drop, you're also removing a body off the board at the same time. So, and then this is pretty much checkmate at this point, but we could have achieved this a turn sooner had I just played the boa out. Also, if I didn't swing with the last boa, I really didn't need to. And then we're going to go ahead and grab blade that out of the way. He had a potential chance at lethal, I think. Yeah, he had a potential chance at lethal here, with me only having 2 cards in hand. But hitting that actually kind of just seals the deal. I believe he recognizes this, and it is just game over from here. But this was a pretty fortunate game for me. He had no stage. He drew. I think he draws into it that turn. But I did make a few mistakes as well, so I got pretty lucky. I should have definitely played, as I said sooner. I should have played that boa out a turn sooner. There's no reason I shouldn't have. And then we shouldn't have probably swung with the boa we had on board, because turning it there actually allowed it to die. So then we would have had 2 AK swings he has to deal with. Even if he has the blocker up, it doesn't even matter at that point. So that's the game. Let me know what you guys think. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about the Sanji Mihawk build, and I will see you guys in the next video.